And we are live on the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM New Orleans, and streaming wherever podcasts live. So we're not hard to find. How cool is that? This is Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry. To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. I'm your host, Father Shawn Whittington. I'm an ordained Catholic priest with the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm a fully professed brother with the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I'm a team member with Society of St. Benedict and co-founder of GhostBegone.biz. And yeah, I'm that guy on Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists on Travel Channel, currently streaming everywhere, in case you haven't caught it yet. And thank you to everyone that continues to discover the show out there in streaming world and reaching out to me with such wonderful support for the project. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. No word yet on a season 2. Hasn't been officially canceled, but hasn't been greenlit yet for a season 2. What else do I want to tell you guys? If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see. Both my books are there. God Ghost and the Paranormal Ministry and God Ghost and the Paranormal Ministry 2. And if you buy the books off of Amazon, they're a little less expensive, and they also come in an audio version. But if you get them off the website, they leave my office here. I autograph them, and they come to you in a beautiful house blessing kit, and you never know when you're going to need one of those. But the beautiful thing about getting them off of the website is part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support stjude.org and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. So that is a very wonderful, wonderful thing. What else is on the website? There's a place to make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues, and my online course is there, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. That's a course like none other out there, with an instructor like none other out there. And this is the course for all you true warriors for Christ that want to learn how to draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagons, and put up a good fight. Perhaps the fight of your life against, God forbid, true evil if that ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll right there at the website, or if you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, you can reach out to me. We can talk about it. I'm not hard to find. And what else do I want to tell you guys? I think that's my song and dance. I'm going to stick to it. All my students that graduate the course get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed items that you can only get from yours truly. Okay, today is a very special show, and I hope we're able to bring it to you. This has been the day of, uh, Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. I've had my co-host Annette's had computer issues. Plus, I'm happy to announce her daughter made it through with flying colors with her open heart surgery, and so Annette's going to take the afternoon off to take care of her daughter. But she's been having a lot of computer issues lately. I've been having a lot of computer issues lately, and my guest too. We can't seem to get her audio to work. She's working on it as we speak, and when I bring her on, hopefully we've got that fixed. And if we don't have it fixed, um, we'll just have to graciously say goodbye to her, and then hopefully between now and the next month, we will get all of the computer issues fixed. But that's what's happening today. But if we're able to pull it off today, today is going to be a special episode that I'm bringing back after it's been on hiatus, if you will, since I made the switch to a new network. We put the show on the back burner for a while, but she agreed to come back. And it's a little thing we're going to call Happy Medium Monthly. And it's going to be the last Friday of every month. And my very special guest will be the one and only Happy Medium herself, live from Cape Cod, Susa Ahearn, who will do live on air psychic readings the whole show. So if you've ever wanted a free live on air psychic reading, that's the show that you want to attend the last the last Friday of every month, Happy Medium Monthly. So here's the rules. It's simple. I bring Susan on. I do my very best, and I'm terrible at it, so bear with me. I do my very best to monitor the chat room. So you have to tune in live, and you have to watch the live stream so you have access to the chat. And you just type in your question for Susan. Her or I will see it, and she'll read your question and give you your reading. Now these are short, like 5 minute quickie readings, and we're not doing any spirit conjuring. That takes a lot more energy, and there's a lot more involved in spirit conjuring, and it takes a lot more time. So we're not doing spirit conjuring, but just ask questions like uh, about love, about health, money, travel, employment, things of that nature, and she'll give you your reading. And I also want to say that in all the time I've been in this field of, I jokingly refer to it as ghost busting since the age of 10. In all that time, and I'm 65 now, of all the psychic mediums I've met, in my humble opinion, I'm going to get hate mail for this, but in my humble opinion, the ones that I truly believe are truly gifted and legit, I can count on both hands, and she's one of them. So I love her and I respect her. Let's keep our fingers crossed, everybody. Positive vibes. The audio is fixed. I'm going to bring her on. Cape Cod's only live on air psychic radio personality. Please welcome to the show the one and only Happy Medium herself, Susa Ahearn. Howdy. No, no. Couple of more things. I'll give you a few seconds to try a couple more things, and I'll talk to you guys about Susan a little bit while she uh, plays with her stuff there a little bit. Okay, she's going to go off and then try to come back on, maybe reboot everything and come back on. Let's keep our fingers crossed. A few more things I want to tell you about Susan. So many people know this about her, and many people don't. A lot of people don't know that she is like a 5-time near-death experience survivor. And I think we should have a different term for that. Because when you actually die, cross over, see heaven, hear God's voice, see angels, see loved ones that have passed over, you're told it's not your time and you're sent back time and time again. One, God's got plans for you on this side of the veil, and you just, you don't argue with God, you deal with it. But I always say it's like 7 times. She argues with me and tells me it's only like 5. But I mean, she survived being hung when she was a young girl. She's been struck by lightning twice. Yeah, right. I know. I think she's survived at least 1, maybe 2 um, deadly car wrecks. One time she was actually hit by a car. Um, she had a roof fall in on her at an old home when she was, I think, doing a paranormal investigation. Possibly she was in there for another reason, but she had a roof fall in on her. Um, so yeah, she's here to do what she does, and so let's keep our fingers crossed she's able to fix everything on her end. But if not, the next time she is scheduled to come back, and I'll keep checking in with her and do some run throughs privately on the side to make sure everything works. But she's due back again at the end of Well, maybe end of April, April 25th. But I'm going to be at a retreat. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my co host Annette to run that episode, or we may have to skip and not be back with Susan until May 30th. May 30th. But if I can talk Annette into taking on the show by herself with Susan, then that will be April 25th. If not, then I always leave it up to um, the wonderful, very talented Michelle DeRoche, who got me this gig on United Public Radio Network. I'll get her to randomly pick, in her humble opinion, one of my best of shows and do a replay that day. But maybe Annette and Susan will be able to pull it off. Having said that, speaking of my trip, this is going to be April 24th through the 27th. I hear something going on. Susan's back. Let me check on her real quick. Howdy. No, God, you look so pretty today. No, you don't see any mute button of any type on your phone, computer, or headset. It might be on your headset. No, no. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. You and I will get together. Um, I got a lot of questions that were sent in to me for you, and they're kind of like basic mutual questions that we both can answer. After I get done doing my song and dance and spiel here, I'll try to answer some of the questions that were sent in for you, and you and I will just have to get together before next month and work on this and see if we can get the bugs out of your system. But no, I can't hear you, so I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry. I love you. I respect you. You're the best. I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed today, but we'll get together um, before next month or before the next time you're going to be on, and we'll try and figure out what happened to the audio. Okay? I'll see you later. Sorry about that, gang. I know a bunch of you had tuned in and had questions ready for Susan, but that's not going to happen today. But we will try 50-50% chance if Annette hosts the show with Susan in April 25th. But if not, we will definitely be back with Susan May 30th. And I will get together with her a couple of times or several times between now and then and try to get the audio um, on her system fixed. So I apologize for that. But I want to talk a little bit about my retreat here, real quick. It's April 24th through the 27th, a Thursday through a Friday. And this is the yearly United States Old Catholic Church retreat. It's also a retreat for the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary, the Society of St. Benedict. And this is going to be a big retreat, and everybody's invited. Okay, so it's at Todd Hall Retreat Center in Illinois. Todd Hall, capital TODDHALL, all one word, Retreat Center. And if you're interested in going, just contact them. Let them know the dates, April 24th through the 27th, a Thursday through a Sunday. Tell them you want to attend the USOCC, United States Old Catholic Church retreat, and they'll give you your prices. You got to figure out how you're going to get there and how you're going to get home. And then, of course, it's not free. You have to pay for your room. But the price you pay for your room for the 4 days includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Got a wonderful cafeteria there, and the food is always delicious, and a ton of snacks. And you know me and snacks. You get to take a handful or so of snacks back to your room if you're one of those late night snacker type people like I am. But we usually have a movie night, and we have classes. And if you're um, a religious person, we have ceremonies, and we have confession and mass and communion and the whole 9 yards. Every day, that is, we have that sort of stuff. So it's just a really wonderful time, and I can't say more about how beautiful Todd Hall Retreat Center is. It's out in the middle of the country, and when you're out there, I'm telling you, you feel like you're just the only people around are Bigfoot. I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere, but it's just beautiful. And so you can, if you're the kind of person who likes to go on nature walks, you can do that. They've got a beautiful outdoor garden slash 3D stations of the cross, and there's areas where you can stop at each station and do some meditation and do some prayer and things of that nature. But it's just a really good time. Did I mention movie night? Um, I think last year we canceled it for some reason, but we'll probably have a movie night, and it's just a really really cool thing. So if you're interested at, and this is going to be a big deal, this one, because Bishop James Long is ordaining Reverend Mother and our current abbot to bishops. They're being elevated to the bishop positions and ordained, apostolic succession, the whole 9 yards, ordained up to the bishop positions. So that's huge. That doesn't happen very often. I couldn't be happier for both Reverend Mother and Abbot Tommy Golden. So I'm very happy for them. And yours truly is going to be elevated and ordained the abbot of the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I know, what were they thinking, right? But I'm honored to accept that. And so those ceremonies will all take place that weekend. You'll get to also see me ordained to the abbot position. And I know we have a couple of Benedictine brothers that are going to take their um, permanent vows. That Benedictine permanent vow ceremony is unlike anything you've ever seen. You'll get to witness that. And I think we have a couple of Benedictines going to show up and take their temporary vows. That's a ceremony too. So it's just going to be really, really cool and something you'll never forget. So keep that in mind. April 24th to the 27th. You can get probably more information on it at the website, United States, usocc.org, usocc.org, or bishopjameslong.com. Go to either one of those locations. And what you can't get there, reach out to me. And I'm sure one-on-one talking with you, I'll think of some. I'm probably forgetting some things that we've got planned for the retreat, but we can talk about the retreat if you want. But you'll find out plenty of it there at those two websites. Or, like I said, just call Todd Hall Retreat Center. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's in Illinois. They've got a wonderful website and a Facebook page, so check them out. You get to see some wonderful pictures of the place there. Rooms are nice. They're all double. You get uh, two double beds in each room, whether you book a single or a double. Um, get your own private bathroom, and the rooms are very spacious. And like I said, it's just really, really cool. So that I'm looking forward to that. Next Friday, we will be here with another live show, and this is another recurring monthly show that Annette and I are doing. It'll be May or March, I should say, March 7th, First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette. This is a show that we give back to you all, our listeners. This is a open mic format. a Q&A session, live Q&A session with Annette and I and you all, the listener and the viewer and the fans and the followers of the show. Again, you have to stream it live. If you just want to listen to it on UPRN, that's fine too. But if you want to be part of the Q&A session, you got to tune in to the live stream and type your question for us. So this is a great opportunity to put, she loves it when I throw her out there like that, but this is a great opportunity to put Annette's feet to the fire over anything you want to ask her, or rake old Father Shawn over the coals over anything you want to ask us. No topic is off the table, and we try to answer all the questions. And so that's a fun time. So that'll be next Friday, March 7th, uh, first Friday with Father Shawn and Annette. Let me say hi to some people here who've tuned in. Michelle Wilfong. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Jeb Ing. Hi, Jeb. And they're all here. Oh, Jeb, I'll let Susan know that you love her. I know that I know Susan well enough to know she's probably crying right now because she loves doing this show. And like I said, we took a break for a while um, from the show when I went from the old network over to the United Public Radio Network. Some shows went on the back burner, and I had to get things rolling here first before I could fit that into the schedule. So um, I'm sure we'll get everything um, fixed. 50% chance she'll be back next month, depending on if Annette wants to do the show with me being at the retreat. If not, we'll have her the following month. But it's on the books. It's scheduled. It's a done deal. Um, Happy Medium monthly, last Friday of every month. I'm just going to come on, not even do an opening spiel, say hi to everybody, let you know who you've tuned into, and boom, that's it. Um, Let her take over, and the people type your questions in for Susan in the chat room. Annette or I or Susan will see the question, and you'll get your free live on air psychic reading from Susan. So I know she's very disappointed today, and I am too, but it is what it is. Like I said, I just had a hunch. It's been one of those weeks with a lot of, um, well, me too, a lot of paranormal issues in the house, a lot of issues with electronics and the internet this past week, and my cable and my TV and all that. So I apologize to each and every one of you that tuned in. We're hoping to see Susan and hear Susan and get some psychic readings. But I'm also happy to report about Annette. People reached out to me earlier and said, "Is Annette going to help you with Susan today?" And yes, she was scheduled to do that, and she'll also be here the next time we do Happy Medium Monthly. She's because I suck at looking at the chat room and getting the questions and bringing them in to Susan. So Annette's going to be here to help with the chat room, make sure that Susan gets every question that's sent into her so she can do her readings. But Annette's daughter came through her open heart surgery with flying colors. So thank you all that prayed for Annette's daughter and for Annette and her family at such a trying, scary time. But so her daughter is back home recovering, and Annette took the afternoon off to continue to take care of her daughter because that surgery I think was like just a couple of days ago, Tuesday of this week. So that's huge, open heart surgery. So anyway, guys, you have me today. If anybody ever had a question you wanted to ask yours truly, um, now would be the day. And on that note, let me check the mail bag and see if I've got any questions in the mailbag. I've been in the mailbag a lot this week. Oh, here we go. I've been in the mailbag a lot this week. There's a couple more in there. And I've been in the prayer room, the prayer urn all week long heavy. It was overflowing with people sending me prayer requests. So I'm happy to announce that the prayer urn was empty this morning. So I didn't have to bring it over to the desk and reach into that. Um, so I've caught up on that. That's always a wonderful thing. That takes precedent and priority over everything for me, making sure I get back to the people who send me in prayer requests because that's very important. And I am a big um, supporter of the power of prayer, and I believe in the power of prayer. So that is very important to me. But who do we got here today? Oh, Jimmy C in Minnesota. Hi, Jimmy. I haven't had it. I can't remember the last time I heard from anybody in Minnesota. Scariest case? Three question marks. That's a great question. Never got that one before. Scariest case. Okay, I'll apologize ahead of time to anybody that's heard this story before, um, but that's a no-brainer. And before I get started, for all of you that might be tuning in late, hoping that this would be Happy Medium Monthly with Susan Ahearn. This is the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM New Orleans and 105.3 on the Gulf. And also, we're streaming anywhere and everywhere that podcasts live, so we're not hard to find. This is Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry, and I'm your host, Father Shawn Whittington. So there you go. And I want to ask, I also have had some people reach out to me interested in being a sponsor of the show. Yes, I currently don't have any sponsors. That would rock. So if you want to have you or your brand or your item or anything about you given a shout out live on air during my show, reach out to me and let me know that you're interested in doing that. And we'll make it happen. So yes, we are open to sponsors. So if you're interested in being a sponsor of the show, that would rock. Reach out to me, and I'll thank you ahead of time for that. And let's see if Michelle has a question for the Rev. Any advice for living with paranormal and finding acceptance and balance? I love that question, Michelle, and I'll tell you why I love it. Because Sharon and I bought this home, and we already knew that there were some issues here. We knew the whole neighborhood was weird, but we knew this house had issues because this house was being used as a rental at the time. And for 20 years, it was built in the mid 70s. Leading up to that, the people that bought the home didn't want to really live in here. They didn't say why, but they made it a rental. And then just one renter after another come, stay for a little while, and then left. So we kind of knew it, but we had such a great deal on the house because the real estate agent that had bought the house from the original owner and was selling the home, renting and slash or rent to buy type situation. She was a friend of Sharon's, so she gave her a knock your socks off, make your eyes pop out like they do in the cartoons. Price on the home. We couldn't pass it up, so we bought it. Plus, we figured what any issues that are dealing that we have to paranormal issues we have to deal with in here, we could handle it. Um, I ended up regretting that statement, and I'll go over that here shortly. But to get back to Michelle's question, um, Sharon and I, we don't rock the boat any longer. If I get what I call a paranormal drive-by here or a recon blast, if you will, and my spidey senses go up, and I get a feeling that something's here that I need to really work on getting out of here, then that's when I intervene. But most of the paranormal issues that I have here, whether it be outside and I believe on the land here, there's elementals out there, and the spirits that are in the home here, I believe they're in visitation, and I believe that there may be a couple attached to the land and attached to the home here, but the majority of them, because of what Sharon and I do, I believe just kind of come and go, and they're in visitation mode. And as long as they don't cause any trouble, we just kind of live and let live. Like I said, if something happens and I need to deal with it, then I'll deal with it. But here's a couple of theories, and I don't know if I buy into them or not. There's the theory that if you do have a ghost in the house, of course, if it's just a disembodied human spirit and you know who the spirit is, Aunt B, Uncle Tom still hanging around because they built the home. They really had a hold on this home, loved life, loved their family, aren't ready to cross over, and just kind of want to hang around. But hearing them, seeing them, smelling them, the little things they may do to try to get attention, if that's freaking the family out, then you need to have, if the person isn't up for talking to their deceased loved one and asking them to move on, then you can ask someone like me to come over and intervene and get the whole family together and talk to the spirit and let them know they're no longer of this age and that their presence is freaking everybody out, and try to get them to cross over. So, having said that, there's a theory that the longer disembodied human spirits hang around a location, they may not even be aware that they're behaving this way, but there's a theory that over time, these well meaning spirits don't become malevolent, but start to behave in a malevolent manner, which can be scary. And I believe that comes from just the loneliness and the despair that they start to feel, knowing, realizing that they're dead, but for whatever reason, they're still stuck here. Maybe they were given an opportunity right after passing to cross over, and they turned it down, and maybe now they've got some type of blinders on and they can't see where to cross over, or there's no warrior angels on the other side appearing to them and helping them cross over. And like I said, they still have a hold on this world. So I believe the longer they stick around becomes great sadness sets in and great despair. And I believe that that manifests in a malevolent form. And the longer spirits are around people, again, they may not intend on doing this, but if, for lack of a better term, they sort of become energy vampires and they don't even realize they're doing this. Some realize they're doing it, and that's where the malevolent behavior comes in. But some don't even realize that just being around and always, on top of the living zaps a person's energy, and people tend to start getting ill. Night terrors, not being able to sleep right. Um, their immune system goes down because of that, and they just start getting sick all the time. A lot of people, because they're around spirits all the time, develop paranoia, and they get on medications for depression or what have you. I'm not writing off that there's a lot of psychological effects that there's answers to in the form of a doctor prescribing medication, all that. But being around spirits all the time, if you're not, if you're not cut of the cloth to deal with that, that can become very psychologically debilitating for some people. So that's the theory. My answer to you, Michelle, would be if you have spirits in your home and you don't want them around, you got to find a way to get them to cross over. Of course, if it's something uglier and more malevolent in nature, then you need someone like me to come over and address that issue. So there you go. But if you don't have a problem with spirits, like Sharon and I, like I said, many of them here are in visitation and we see them and then we don't see them again. Or we may see them a couple of times, or we don't see them again. Or we may see them quite a few times, then don't see them for a little while, then they come back again. And it's like I said, as long as they're not up to no good, we just kind of live and let live after all of this time. So Michelle, I love you, Michelle. Come on. You're not annoying. I love all of my listeners and followers. Nobody's annoying. And like I said, I don't have a show without you guys. So if you tune in and you ask me questions, that's what I'm here for. I can't help but be very disappointed that usually I am on top of the technical issues on this show, and I wear my emotions on the sleeve, and I want to put on a good show. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to seeing Susan today, so I feel bad for them too. But like I said, I'm going to make sure I get together with her a couple of times before the next time we have Happy Medium Monthly. I'm going to make sure everything is worked out. But God, she looked so pretty today. She was in a great location. I don't know if she was at her home or her daughter's office. Um, but she has her own spirit posse that follows her around. And if you want to follow Susan, she's got a wonderful Facebook page, Happy Medium. It's all one word crunched together. And she also has a wonderful website, Cape Cod Happy Medium, all one word.com. Check her out. And she's got a new movie out. Well, Daniel Groom was the director of the movie, and I think he was also the writer and one of the producers. And the name of the movie escapes me at this time. But Daniel Groom is a good friend of hers and mine, and he just came out with a new movie. And I know that she may have just worked on the set, but she may have had a part in it. I'm not sure. But I wanted to ask her today about that. You can reach out to Susan and ask her about this new movie that Daniel's got out, or reach out to Daniel Grumman. I believe he's got a trailer out now about the movie. But I know that there's a part in the movie about a priest and an exorcism gone wrong in a hospital. And Daniel reached out to me for some advice on how to write that, how to script that scene, and the uh, incidents that led up to the exorcism and shortly thereafter, and everything about that scene. And I was more than happy to help him with that. So I can't wait to see the movie and see if how my advice, what parts of it he may or may not have taken, how they look implemented into the movie, and how that all worked out. But so that's very cool. Michelle says, I know family is watching over me. I think strays come through. It's a whole another life I never dreamed of dealing with. Yeah, been there, done that. So, like I said, everybody says elementals. Priests believe in elementals. Guys, I don't know what to believe in anymore. I've seen and experienced so much craziness in terms of paranormal research and ghost hunting and ghost busting and deliverance ministry and exorcism and all that that I just I just let it happen and then try to deal with it. But yeah, elementals I believe are out in my yard here. It's just been one thing after another in my yard that doesn't work. The pool never worked. We had to drain it. The water main in a couple of different areas have, for no apparent reason, bust um, out there. Uh, and I really love telling this story. When we moved here, we had this huge tree right in the middle of the front yard, slightly off to the side, but this huge tree. And I did everything I could to try to save that tree. It looked wonderful when we first got here. I watered it a lot, fertilized it a lot, babied it. You know, you hear hug a tree. I did that. Would go out there and talk to it and hug it. And because that was the big tree in our yard. Well, it started to die. And I did everything I could to try to save it, and I just couldn't do it. So all of a sudden, I noticed one day the roots started to come out of the ground, and the tree started to lean and fall towards the house. This tree was big enough to where I could clearly tell it was going to land on the master bedroom, smack dab on the master bedroom, and probably take the master bedroom out. And at that time, before we had a severe demonic presence in the home here for about 2 months, Sharon and I were still sleeping in the master bedroom. We don't sleep in that room any longer. We sleep on a California Queen mattress on the floor in the living room. True story. For years now. We don't sleep in the master bedroom, but at that time we did, and I knew that if it came down in the middle of the night while we were sleeping, it probably would kill us. Also, we're close enough to our neighbor that if the tree fell that way, it would probably take out his kitchen and maybe hurt somebody in his home. We didn't want that to happen. We knew if the tree fell in another direction, it would fall right where Sharon and I park our cars and would take the cars out. And also, I couldn't quite tell how far it would come down into the street if it fell in the street, but I was concerned about that too because we have a lot of kids in the neighborhood and a lot of them play right out front. I didn't want the tree to fall and hurt a kid. So I went out there finally and I prayed to everything that would listen to me. Top of the list was to God, Jesus, the Holy Family, all my guardian angels, anybody that would listen. And then, yeah, then came in me praying to the elementals and anybody that had power to keep this tree from falling and hurting anything. Please, as a favor to me, make sure that don't happen. I kid you not. I went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, went outside. I don't remember what I went outside for. It wasn't to check on the tree, probably to go to work or do some gardening or something. But I walked out. The tree, I kid you not, looked like it had been lifted out of the ground, moved over towards the house, and then laid down perfectly in the yard. And you could tell at this point that it was actually moved over once it was lifted out of the ground, because had it just fallen over from where it was at, you could clearly tell at that time how big it was, that it would have gone into the sidewalk and over the curb and into the street a little bit. So it actually looked like the tree was lifted up, moved over towards the house enough to be laid down and fit perfectly in my yard, the opposite direction from where it was falling. So it cleared everything. It didn't hit my house, didn't hit my cars, didn't hit my neighbor's house, and fell just short of the sidewalk so it wouldn't hit any kids and kids could still play. Was it a miracle? I'm going to go ahead and chalk it up as yeah, it was a miracle because it was going to fall on my house. So there you go. That's my elemental story. And the only other one is everybody that's ever come by to visit wants to know when are you going to do something with your backyard? It's a jungle out there. Yeah, it looks bad out there. Drained the pool, and I've got 13 outdoor cats float that adopted Sharon and I, and they live out there now. So it's their jungle playground. I don't want to mess with that mojo. I know how cats can be. Um, but I was out there watering big hedge of oleanders on the back of my lawn on the other side of my pool. And something that I couldn't see actually picked me up and tossed me in the pool. And my pool's drained. And they tossed me in the deep end. So that was quite a fall. And that hurt. And I did get injured. Could have been a lot worse. But it was scary and it hurt. And I didn't want that to ever happen again. So I don't go back there anymore to water or to do any lawn work or anything. It is what it is. Except for one time I had to go back there with a plumber who came to. This is one of the times my water main had broke, and it broke on the corner of the house in the far end of the yard. So I hired a landscaper to come and dig that area up. And I've had workers here before. Like I had a plumber come in the house one time, and he saw that I had Ghost Begone magnets on the side of my car, and he read that. And he looked me up. He said, "Oh, you're a Ghostbuster, huh?" Yeah. And he goes into this long speech in my kitchen about how he doesn't believe in ghosts or demons or none of that stuff, and he thinks it's a big scam, and I should be ashamed of myself scamming people. I don't scam anybody, but okay. And that he just doesn't believe in any of that stuff. All of a sudden, now the guy had come in and out of the front door a dozen times to go back and get this tool, take this tool back, come in with supplies, whatever. The door was open, front door. But he starts talking to me and giving me this speech about there's no such thing as ghosts and all that. And all of a sudden, this unusual look comes over his face, and he gets really pale. And I can tell his arms are all chicken skin. They bumpy, hair's going up. I can tell something's happening to the dude, but I don't say anything. He finally goes, "You know what? I don't feel very good. I'm going to go outside and get some fresh air, maybe have a smoke." I said, Sure, God bless you, by all means. He goes to the front door, he turns the doorknob, and the door won't open. He checks the deadbolt, he checks the doorknob lock. Door's unlocked. He's cranking on. This is a big dude. He's cranking on it. He can't get the door open to save his life. He starts really panicking. I mean, it looks like that guy's about to have a mental breakdown. So I want to nip that in the bud. And I couldn't think of what else to say other than out loud, I said to the cosmos, he's a friend. Let him out. And as soon as I said that, he turns the doorknob and the door easily opens right up, and he just gives me this look. He walks outside, left the door open. I hear the truck start up, his work truck, and he drives off, and he never came back. True story. I still have the guy's tools, and I don't know how to use tools, so they just sit there. I've sent messages to his company, let him know his tools are here and he can come back anytime. And I remember one girl I spoke to there said, he says you can keep the tools. He ain't coming back. So So the next time I needed to have a guy come by to do some work in the backyard, I said, well, once the guy gets here, I need him to stay. So I took the magnets off my car, and the guy shows up. He comes through the house. He's in the backyard working, and I'm standing behind him because I know if something picks him up and throws him back, he's going to land in the deep end of my pool, and he's going to get hurt, and I don't want that to happen to him. So I'm standing behind him just kind of over his shoulder watching him work. I know he felt very uncomfortable about that because a couple of times he said, you can go, you don't have to watch me work. You can go inside. I'm like, no, I dig watching people do this kind of stuff because I don't know how to do it, and I'm bored. You're good company. I like watching what you're doing. I'm just gonna hang out if you don't mind. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude. So I'm sitting there watching him, and his back is to me, and he's crouched down. He's got this hole dug, and he's working in this hole, but he's crouched down like a catcher in a baseball game over this hole. All of a sudden, he stops working, and I see him. Now I'm behind him. I see him raise his head up and look into these bushes, and he just stares into the bushes for a while, and then all of a sudden, he slowly stands up, and he's still staring into the bushes. And then all of a sudden he steps back real quick, almost bumping into me and knocking me into the pool. And his head does this. He turns around and he looks at me and goes, Did you hear that? Did you see that? Well, if he's watching, I have a confession to make. Yeah, I did hear and see what he did, but I lied to him at the time and said, No, what are you talking about? He goes, There was somebody standing right in front of me in that bush talking to me. And then he walked off. And you could hear him walking through the bushes. You didn't see and hear that? Well, no, man. I said, listen, if it makes you feel any better, the acoustics in this neighborhood is weird. There's always kids playing, cars driving by, whatever. So you're probably just hearing somebody talking in another yard somewhere. No, dude, there was somebody standing right in front of me, and he was talking to me, and then he walked off. Somehow I calmed the guy down. I kept him here to finish his work, and he finished it. We had no more incidents. But he left. He forgot something here, but I didn't know he was coming back, so I put the magnets back on the car. And he comes walking up the driveway, sees the magnets, and he was so upset. He saw, dude, you lied to me. You're a paranormal investigator, Ghostbuster, whatever you are, and you even have a team and all that, and you knew all of that happened back there. Why did you tell me? I'm all, listen, man. I need you to, I apologize. I needed you to stay and finish the job because I don't know how to do that work. So no harm, no foul. You're okay. You did a great job. I won't ever ask you to come back. Thank you. So those are the kinds of issues I have here, and you know, uh, I've also got that issue where Sharon sees my doppelganger. I guess probably the most, well, I'm going to say disturbing, only because we really don't know what it is, and I'm going to call it a doppelganger. But we don't, nothing demonic about it, or nothing really weird happens other than seeing the apparition. But Sharon will walk by the office here if I have the door open, and sometimes she'll see me sitting right here at the computer working away. And I look so busy that she doesn't want to bug me. She'll go, well, I know I can walk in the master bedroom and go into the master bathroom and do something if I need to go in there. He's not going to be in there. He's in the office. She'll walk in the bedroom and walk over and go into the office or go into the my other office, go into the bathroom, and there I am in the bathroom. She'll go, wait a minute. What are you doing here? I just saw you in the bedroom. I'm well, that wasn't me because I'm right here. Usually seeing my doppelganger here is usually followed by the apparition of a young child. And we're not sure if it's, you know what? I have that picture. We're not sure if it's a young girl or a young boy. And we see that apparition come walking out of the office, walk through the house, and out the back door. And when our dogs were still alive, may they rest in peace, they many times would see it too. And you could see their heads follow this thing. But their hairs wouldn't go up. They wouldn't growl or anything like they would if something demonic was in the home. But they would watch this thing go out the house. So this picture is on page 198 of my first book. See if you guys can see it. See that young child there staring up at me? I'm at the top of a ladder at an investigation at an abandoned location out in the middle of the desert. The docents had asked me to come out there and investigate because several of the docents had seen that apparition around the property and they were all freaked out and wanted me to come and investigate. Well, when I was up at the top of this ladder looking in this loft, I sensed something behind me and I turned around and I didn't see the apparition, but right down there at the bottom of the ladder there was like some, for lack of a better description, some tiling or like a predator in the movie The Predator, some kind of matrix scene or tiling going on there, like an anomaly of some sort. I took a few photos. That apparition showed up in that photo, and it's funny. As soon as I put that picture in book number one and published the book, we started seeing that apparition here in the home. But it follows my Sharon's sighting of me. I haven't seen my doppelganger yet, but Sharon will see me first, and then it's always followed by the apparition of that young girl or young boy. Like I said, we haven't felt anything weird, but this was an extremely roundabout way to get to Jimmy's question, scariest case. So I know I'm running out of time here. Excuse me. Scariest case always is the one where Sharon almost died. Um, we worked a case where there was I'm just going to call it what it is, something demonic was at this location. And it followed, this is long before I even got into the deliverance ministry field. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just trying to help people with their haunted issues in their homes. But we went to this case and something there, I mean, this young girl who just got married was being raped by something she couldn't see in the middle of the night, right in her bed. And her husband would even witness the attacks. And when he tried to intervene, sometime he would come under attack and he would be raped too. Um, but then it started happening in the shower while they're watching TV, while they're having dinner, out on the porch having a cig. So it was a pretty ugly situation. Well, whatever that was there followed us home and lived here in our home for about 2 months until I found the right person in the paranormal community to help me, who was an exorcist at the time, and she helped me teach me how to fight this thing and get out of the house. But it was hell bent, for lack of a better term, on taking Sharon's life. It resulted in her coming down with three very rare forms of cancer: tongue cancer, throat cancer, medullary thyroid cancer. She had a feeding tube in for a year, couldn't swallow water for 8 months, couldn't talk for over a year, went from like 130 pounds down to like 90 pounds. She was going to die. So these things are very real. Be careful. If you think you have something like that around you, figure out why it's targeting you, change that behavior pattern, and get someone like me over to deal with it because it could be a matter of life and death. But these things are very real. And it almost took Sharon's life. Thank you, Jesus. divine intervention. She's still here with us. Um, but that would have to be the scariest case because I battled this thing for 2 months in my home. And even after we got it out of here, now it was a 5 year battle to try and help Sharon live. She wasn't expected to live. And like I said, a lot of surgeries, chemo, radiation, and a lot of prayers and divine intervention. She's still here with us, back up to about 115 pounds, eating normal, drinking normal, talking normal, feeding tubes out, and she's still here with us. So thank you, Jesus. So just be careful out there, guys. And I talk a lot about that story in book one, and in book two, mostly it's stories that were too scared for the TV show. Um, so I put them in the book. Book three, I'm going to start working on when I get out back from the retreat, and that's going to be more stories that were too scary for the show, and my journey from um, first being asked to be enter the seminary to at 65 graduating the seminary and becoming an ordained priest. A lot of people want to know about that journey, so I'm going to talk a lot about that in this book, and because I want the book to end on a very positive, high note, not so much scaring everybody to death anymore, but uh, don't know. That'll probably be another year before that book comes out, but like I said, I want to take this moment to thank Michelle DeRoche and Joe Montaldo for making it possible to have my show air on the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM, New Orleans, and 105.3 on the Gulf. And of course, the show is streaming wherever podcasts live. If you watch the show on my website, on my YouTube channel, Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry YouTube channel, give it a like and share it. Subscribe. If you're a sponsor, reach out to me. Don't go anywhere, guys, because coming up next is Spirit Switchboard with the one and only Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. And that's a great show. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you next Friday, the 7th, March 7th, for First Friday with Father Shawn and Annette. And like I said, God bless you all for tuning in because I don't have a show without each and every one of you. And I promise I'm going to work hard on making sure all of the technical bugs are taken care of so I can get this Happy Medium Monthly show off the road because it's backed by extreme popular demand. So I want to make sure that's getting going. And I know Susan's very um, heartbroken about that today. So, anyway, brothers and sisters, remember, we may have done what the devil said we did, but we are not who the devil says we are. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Peace.